Come close, not merely to hear, but to feel the slow pulse beneath the words, the subterranean tide that moves through all that is seen and unseen. There is a vibration here, ancient and persistent, a current that speaks in symbols and dreams, carrying the weight of stories older than your name. If you are quiet enough, if you let the noise of the outer world fall away, you will sense it, that whisper at the edge of a consciousness that has always been calling you toward the turning. Before we begin, take a moment to like and subscribe. The more you engage and stay with the content, the more YouTube shares these timeless insights with others. By doing so, you're not only helping this channel grow, but also spreading Carl Jung's transformative wisdom to those seeking meaning and inner truth. Let's dive into the depth of the psyche together. You have crossed a threshold, though there was no ceremony to mark it. No applause, no witness but your own breath. Something has ended, not with the clang of a door, but with the hush of a candle guttering in still air. And in that ending, a liberation quietly unfurled its wings. Not the kind of victory that demands the surrender of another, nor the hollow satisfaction of proving someone wrong, but the soft, seismic knowing that you have stepped out of a dance that was never truly yours. For the figure you faced was never simply a person. They were the embodiment of a pattern, a face worn by an archetype as old as myth. The narcissist, not merely an individual, but a mirror that reflects only its own hunger, a voice that speaks without ever hearing, an eye that observes but cannot behold. Their nourishment is not the sacred act of mutual reflection, but the siphoning of the unformed, the open, the tender-hearted. They do not see your essence. They scan for your light, your longing, your wounds, as a predator scents the warmth of prey. And yet, even in the earliest moments, there was a sentinel within you, a quiet watcher that did not shout, that did not fight, it simply waited. Perhaps it stirred in dreams that left you restless, in moments where their touch felt like both gift and theft. This was yourself, the deeper current of you, patient but never passive. It endured until the weight of confusion pressed so hard against your ribs that breath itself became a plea. For in such entanglements, the greatest wound is not pain but disorientation, the slow erosion of your own knowing, the bargaining away of soul truth for a counterfeit intimacy. But the self knows. It begins to withdraw its golden threads from the tapestry of the false. You think you are collapsing, but you are awakening, and the moment you stop playing the role written for you, the pattern begins to unravel. The refusal comes softly at first, a barely felt shift in the air between you, a holy indifference. A refusal not born of spite but of sovereignty. You stop defending your truth to one committed to distorting it. You hold boundaries even when they exact the cost of affection. You stop feeding the fire that has only ever burned you. These are not small moments. These are the quiet victories the soul keeps in a hidden reliquary. The narcissist does not fear anger, they gorge on it. What they cannot endure is the absence of your gaze, the silence that follows your departure, the sudden vacancy where your life force once poured into their emptiness. For they never possessed power, they only borrowed yours. And now, you have gone dark to them. You may ache for justice, for the outer world to witness what you have endured, but that hunger belongs to the ego. The soul asks only for release. You are not the keeper of their reckoning. Their true prison is the hollow they carry within, an echo chamber in which they must live long after you have gone. Your work is to gather what was scattered, the voice silenced, the instincts doubted, the dreams set aside, and bring them back to the hearth of your own becoming. These pieces do not return unchanged. They have been through fire. They have been washed in grief, hammered by betrayal. And in their return they gleam no longer fragments but gold, each one a relic of your individuation. This is not a neat procession from wound to wisdom. It is a spiral, a slow descent and ascent, sacred in its imperfection. You stop seeking to be understood by those who cannot see you. You stop measuring your worth in the mirrors of the unseeing. And in the moment you release the need for their recognition, you are free. And freedom alters your very magnetism. What once drew you into the orbit of chaos now feels discordant. The honeyed hook of manipulation tastes bitter. The eyes that once lured now flicker with warning. You learn to hear the undertone in a compliment, the invisible leash in attention, the price hidden in approval, and you step away before the snare closes. You do not always know where you are going, only that you will not return to the labyrinth you left behind, and that is enough. For the path of individuation is not about becoming someone else, but about coming home to the one you have always been. And now, I invite you not merely as a listener, but as a traveler who has walked this inner terrain to seal this reflection with a number, not chosen at random, but drawn from the marrow of what you have felt here. Choose a number that is the shape of your own transformation, the number of doors you have closed to protect your peace, the number of times you have died to an old self to be reborn into the new, the number that whispers of the archetype now walking beside you, whether it is the phoenix, the hermit, the warrior, or the lover. Let this number be your talisman in the comments below, a silent offering to the collective fire we tend here. In writing it, you speak without words. I have descended and returned. I have seen the hollow mask and chosen my own face. I have turned from the illusion and found my own reflection in the still waters of the self. And, perhaps, as others leave their numbers too, you will see that we are not solitary in this journey. We are a constellation, each number a star, each star a story, each story a light by which another might find their way home. You begin to feel joy, not the manic joy of performance, but the deep, still joy of being. You laugh not because someone approves, but because life is absurd and beautiful. You love not to be chosen, but because your heart cannot help it. You create not to be seen, but because the soul is always making. This is the state the narcissist cannot reach. This is the terrain they cannot understand. And that, my dear soul, is the final sign that you have won. You no longer want to be them. You no longer need to fix them. You no longer see them as a mystery. You see them as they are lost. Afraid. Chasing mirrors in a house without doors. And you have found the door, and you have walked through it. You may not even realize when it happened. It was subtle. It was quiet. But it was real. You won, and the rest of your life will be the proof. The psyche is not linear. It does not heal by calendar or checklist. It heals in spirals, in returns, in a choice.